Okay. Okay, Madhouse. All right. You've been teasing it. You've been holding me off. You've been saying, a little more setup, a little more setup. Just, oh, hang on. We need to set the stage. We need to set the stage a little bit more. We need to keep setting the stage just a little bit more stage setting, just a little bit more stage setting, and then it's gonna kick off. Then it's gonna kick off for sure, absolutely. This time, for sure, technically, for real, bro. Believe me, this time it's gonna kick off. And now it's, I'm getting impatient over here, Madhouse. I'm getting impatient. You can't keep working me up like that, and then just leaving me hanging. All right. So now we need to see something moving here. So yeah, Frieren. Let's watch Frieren. Let's watch the Frieren anime about the sad elf who walks around the countryside and reminisces about hero memories. That's definitely what this anime is about right now. Let's watch that one together. And if you've not been along to one of these before, again, I question why you're here at episode 21, but if you haven't, the way this works is kind of a little bit like you and I are sitting next to each other on the couch, each on our own laptop, watching the same episode at the same time. But then occasionally, I am your annoying friend who's going to be like, ooh, I need to talk to you about that, and to yap at you about that. So I tell you to pause the video at the same time I pause the video. Then I yap at you about it. And then we go back to the place where we left off, and then we resume from there, right? So I'm going to give you a countdown, and going to go something like 3, 2, 1, go. And then we'll both go and we'll watch the anime together. And then I'm going to see something I want to yap about, and then I'll say 3, 2, 1, pause, and then I pause, and then it's like, oh, hey, shit, I want to yap about these raindrops, or whatever. And then when I'm ready to go again, because I'm done talking about what I'm talking about, it's 3, 2, 1, go, right? Does that more or less make sense to you? I think it should. It's relatively easy for me, and relatively inconvenient and complicated for you, which is exactly the way that YouTube should be. That's how I do it on this channel. If it's not for you, that's fine. You can go somewhere else. That's completely okay. I sympathize with you, but this is just the way that I am as a person and the way that I've decided to do it. So, let's see what happens. Let's have that fucking Sakuga fight, Madhouse. I kind of need it now. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, lovely little raindrop animation on there, actually. Wait, now we're somewhere else. Okay. Wait, no. She was already on her throne back then? Oh, she's the one remembering, is she? Well, that's interesting. Interesting that she's the one remembering Frieren. Frieren who looked her in the eye. Interesting. I do like the voice performance of her, like a conspicuously deeper voice than you would expect coming out of like a tiny skinny elf, right? Sashiburu da ne, flamme, or something along those lines. I do not speak Japanese. My apologies. I still like the odd rhythm of this OP. Interesting drum part. Oh, we're gonna take this one again. Oh, we're gonna take this one again. Holy shit. There we go. Oh, that's what we like to see here. There was a good reason to reanimate that, huh? Mind your stances. If he's gonna manipulate the ground, you need to be... Mind your footing. Ah, the master's master, huh? Back to that philosophy of power, huh? Ooh. Maybe don't blast the whole thing out just like that. There it is. Interesting cinematography there. Good. Buy some time. Whee! Are you not? Bit of a sadist in you. Oh boy, that's just famous last words. Yeah, I imagine that's how it would end up. Damn, I want to pause and analyze everything, but I also don't want to stop watching, so. Whee! Flame tornado. Fancy. Oh, we ask a conspicuous question, and we get a conspicuous answer, don't we? Oh, that's point blank. Ooh. Cold. I've got cats running around my legs. Okay. Like a naughty cat. Meow. Good question. What's he after? Okay, 3, 2, 1, pause. Okay. Jeez, that's the quietest I've ever been during an episode of Frieren, I think. Without doing a million pauses. Just because I wanted to see shit play out. Whew. Let's go back a step or two here. I quite like this transition. Right? This is hundreds of years ago. And then we fade to the current condition of the throne room, and it's so dilapidated, right? It was clean and quite spectacular, and then... And it's interesting that she's the one remembering. And this, again, says something about the occupant, right? Seri, whatever else, she's not known for maintenance or cleaning, is she? And, like, to be fair, over centuries, that's a difficult thing to do, but it's not like she's been doing maintenance on this place. It's not like she's been... Yes, hello, hi. What? The cats are playing around my feet. She's not been doing maintenance. She hasn't been cleaning. She hasn't been repairing things when the walls chip and when the floors tarnish. She hasn't been doing that. Like, maybe some servant comes in and cleans for her. And also, nothing else has changed, right? It's been God knows how many hundreds of years since Flamme came here with Frieren. Nothing has changed, right? There isn't a new bookcase. There isn't a new bookcase. There isn't new treasures piled up. There isn't evidence of a life being lived. Just her on her throne with her troves of grimoires and books, sitting on it. But clearly, she's not going out and having new adventures and bringing trophies back or anything of the sort. She's just persisting. Which, again, very different from Frieren, who's, like, even when she's disengaged from the world, she's at least out in it. Right? Like, she's at least out talking to people. She's at least out having adventures, seeing things, even when she's, like, just letting time pass. Whereas this is just... sad. Honestly. And I do also note the conversation that they had. Right? Because we get the test, right? She's strong, I like her, tell me what spell you desire, and Frieren is like, I don't really want one. Like, what's the point? Like, it's like, I want to go and find spells, I don't want to just, like, order them up on a plate. And she's clearly very disappointed by that, right? It's like, oh, well, I mean, what the fuck's the point of you, then? You're not ambitious, you don't want to get more powerful, you don't want to be stronger, so what the hell, like, what are you gonna do in the world? You have nothing driving you, right? Like, you're not going to achieve anything. But then, also, hey, how much did your throne room change in the last, like, 500 years or whatever? How much did that change? How much did you change? How much new did you learn? How much change did you make to your world? Have you accumulated any new spells? Probably she has, but, like, you know. And also, you can't imagine yourself living in a peaceful era. Which, again, to me feels like that's implying context, right? Why did Seren 50 years ago decide to set up this first-class mage system thing and have them all fight for that privilege? Well, maybe she was like, oh, this era has been peaceful for like 30 years. That's incredibly boring. I'm dying over here. There needs to be conflict and war. Hey, what if I promised nuclear weapons grade magic to anyone who just goes out and becomes a really chaotic, powerful monster mage? Yeah, that'll do it. Feels a little bit like maybe that's what's going on, is that she's just very badly wants someone she can actually fight and go toe-to-toe with, rather than, you know, she craves the chaos, essentially. And I do also like that, like, there's a kindred spirit in Denken with Frieren. The greatest joy of magic lies in searching for it, right? He's not motivated by those kinds of ambitions. And that also tells me this guy is also a mage of a peaceful era. Right? Like that sort of seems to be the calling card there. He's a mage of a peaceful era who clearly doesn't enjoy very much living in the Empire where you have to look over your shoulder every 2 seconds for an assassination attempt. That's an interesting character. And the fact that he just wants to go and visit a grave, right? Before he himself passes on. He, again, there's a mirror to Frieren there, right? Like, the purpose of magic, well, it's not to kill people or destroy stuff. It's like, it's to do useful things, right? Searching for magic, finding out, oh, here's a new utility. Here's something new it can do. That's interesting. And like Frieren, he only wants the grade so that he can go, right? And visit that grave that matters to him. Much in the way that Frieren is looking to go and, visit a dead person, essentially. It's interesting. It's interesting that he's like such a kindred spirit to her. And of course, Madhouse. They delivered. I'll grant them that, Madhouse, you delivered. I do love me a good anime explosion. Like, maybe a little bit much on the camera shake effect there, but like, look at that cloud, the way that it produces, and then we get like the pressure waves of air swooping out from it. Like, oh. Like, that has some kick to it, right? Like, that feels like, damn. Right? And it's that classic anime timing thing, right? Which is, we get the initial gadoosh, right? Gaboom. And then there's a delay as we, like, there's this sense of tension being built up. And then, the second hit lands, right? Which is like, that gives you more of a snap, like more, it feels more powerful than just a single boom, when it's boom, boom, right, instead. Has a lot more kick to it.
What? What are you yowling at?
What? My cat Apollo is walking around going, like, he does that sometimes. He gets really chatty in the evenings, but I don't know what he wants, because he doesn't really want attention, it seems. And he doesn't want food. Well, he does want food. He always wants food, but that's not what he's yowling for. He's just a chatty cat who's feeling hyphy, I think. Please, no, don't do that to my curtains, please. Hello. Hello. Oh, well, okay. Yeah, one of them is behind the curtain, the other one's in front of the curtain, and they're fighting each other through the curtain. My poor curtain. So much mileage just out of the dust clouds. Like, look at them. And then we get, like, the show-off shot, right? This is just, like, just because we can. And again, like, you can see, like, they're rendering the ground simpler than they otherwise. Like, no watercolor painting here, but that's fine. That's not necessary. Oh, that's really good. And again, the differential timing thing, right? Background moves, ice shards move, but the earth cube doesn't move. So we alternate those timings so that on every frame something is moving, even if no thing is moving more than every other frame. And the effect is beautiful animation smoothness. And, like, the subject that they choose to rotate as well being this ground dome, and, like, the lighting artists having to manage the lighting on that thing. It's tough. Like, it's a tough thing, and it's also a tough thing to depict him crouching in there in a way that'll feel accurate to, like, to the rotation of the rest of the thing. It's not an easy thing to do. I like that as a little visual flourish as well, right? Won't you run out of mana casting such flashy spells? Knock, knock, crumbles, right? It's not necessarily that that means that his spells are literally fragile, right? Like, clearly they can handle having ice shards thrown at them. But I like that as a little storytelling gesture that, like, yeah, no, this looks big and impressive, but maybe it's a bit more fragile than he's letting on, which of course is what, like, the dialogue, that's what the dialogue is going to be, that he's talking about, like, oh, defensive magic, it has a weakness, and I'm exploiting that weakness, and, like, I'm controlling physical objects, and blah, 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 blah. Just absolutely smash launched. He charged his side smash. Lovely timing on that as well. Right, again, the way that we get the initial pop and then the zhoosh to follow it up, which is pop and then smoke cloud to follow it, like to really sort of deliver the impact of this earth spike sending them flying. Little character design note here. We can tell that Denkin is struggling visually because his hair is just a little disheveled. His beard is just a little less sort of collected than it was before. It's a nice little character design thing. And then we get, it's not quite an Otani circus, but it's close. Of Frieren just absolutely absolutely homing, missiling that poor old man. Winning exactly the same way that Frieren did, by the way, which, again, I like that. I like that Frieren is winning by essentially the exact same technique that her student did, because this is how they practice. This is how they do it. And then the fucking hurricane. This one is especially interesting because of the trees in the background, right? So the elements that we're working with here is like, we're kicking up the hurricane, which is like the central twister. Then there's the dust cloud that's sort of whipping around his feet. Then there's his cloak. Then there's the background elements. What I'm curious about here is what timing they're operating on exactly. Looks like, okay, so the tornado and the cloak, his clothes and stuff, are moving on the same timing until here, at which point it swaps, right? Like, here they're moving on the same timing. Then the secondary little dust cloud kicks up, and now that and his cloak are in sync for a bit. And then you can see, like, they put the background... Oh, the background... So, the trees in the background, right? They alternate between... Now they move at the same speed as the foreground objects, like his cloak and, like, the dust clouds. And the tornado in the background doesn't move. Then the foreground objects move. Then the tornado and the trees in the background move. So the trees are swapping timings back and forth on such like a division of thirds until the pace kicks up. And they really like, oh, that's a good way to manage that. And again, the effect. So smooth. So smooth. And it's such an expressive tornado as well, right? It's not just a wind column that's like bish, and then there's a wind column there. Like, look at the snap. Look at the elasticity on that. Right? The way that you have this central column rising up and these like winds whipping around to the center of it, and then it's like they almost snap around Frieren like a jaw, right? yoink, and then you get this constriction as like that secondary spiral. I'm pointing on my screen. That doesn't really make any sense. I should be pointing that way, as that secondary spiral sort of constricts around it. And then it sort of takes its full form and fully has like swallowed her. And then we pile on. And like, just props to the lighting engineers here and the colorists, because this is all them. Like, this is all lighting engineers and colorists choosing which parts of the tornado to light up and how to keep that light like consistent so that it still looks like rotating motion, right? So that it still looks like the tornado is spinning as they are sort of developing this idea that it's being slowly set on fire like a fuse, and then boom, up in the explosion. What some fucking gorgeous color work with the bright core and then the orange, and then like spinning these red ribbons around it to really achieve that sense of like absolutely molten glowing heat. Another difficult thing, the tornado down here needs to feel like it's spinning faster than the tornado up top, right? The tornado up top needs to feel like this bit is rotating more slowly than the bit that's closer to the center, because that's how rotational motion works. And they manage it, right? Like, they manage to make the tornado in the center look like it's spinning extremely fast, and then all the bits out here along like the further rim of that flame disk look like they're spinning more slowly. That's really well done. That's just really impressive animation work, man. Oh yes, I'm eating today. And then it's like, someone's been analyzing the berry. Why? I don't know. Well, they're wasting their time. Do you really think there's a mage in this world greater than Seri? They say, as we cut to this flame wall in anticipation of getting. And here's another little tour de force. It's like, oh yeah, like, do you really think there is a mage? I don't know. That sounds impossible. There couldn't possibly be a greater mage than Seri anywhere in the world, right? Another little tour de force. This one seems so much simpler, right? It's just a fisheye lens effect, right? Like, as we're doing this, like, part dolly zoom, part fisheye lens zoom into his face as he realizes he's about to get absolutely got. But, like, could you do this? Could you animate a face not just getting closer, but distorting into the camera in a way that feels more or less not naturalistic, not realistic as such, but which feels more or less correct, right? So that the eye understands, okay, this is like a lens distortion effect where the closer part of him is getting like distorted and getting bigger faster than the bit of him that's slightly further away. Because this is another one of those shots where you could just zoom in. Like, you could just zoom. Like, you don't have to do this, right? You could just zoom in. Like, you could really just have, like, this static image of him and then, like, zoom in on it as, like, the lighting effect is spinning around. But no, Madhouse. So Madhouse, the Madhouse animators really went in on it. Like, and especially like the way they manage his wrinkles. That's a difficult thing as we're getting in closer. You can see the way they pull them in towards like the bag under his eyes and slowly diminish them as we get closer, which really does help enhance the zoom effect. That's really good. I like his getting up animation as well. Like, there's good weight to that. And again, like, cloth physics pervert working overtime on this one, really carefully managing the fold and the heft of, like, all this folded cloth and, like, his tunic and his cloak as he's, like, slowly hefting himself up off the ground. Like the way that it falls, the way that it foreshortens and distorts. And also, like, managing his anatomy of his face, right? Like, he's a fairly caricatured old man guy, right? Like, managing the foreshortening and the three-dimensionality on his face as he's sitting up like that, and, like, we get to see his eye briefly, and then, like, the eyebrows come down. And that's the other thing. Not only is he sitting up like that, he's expressive, right? He sits up, and you get the sense that he's, like, knitting his brow, right? You can see the change in his expression as he's sitting up from this extreme angle. That's not easy to do.
What?
Let's see. I wanted to look at... I wanted to look at that again, just because I quite like that effect. Yeah, they're doing the same thing again. Flash away, distort, resolve, flash away, distort, distort. Yoosh. Good way to do that. Solid little ninpo, like solid little instant transmission visual effect. Yeah, that's really cool. I do like this, like picking her up by the scruff of the neck, like a naughty little kid. Good way. Like, she doesn't even have to threaten her. Like, they all know, like, yeah, Frieren could probably kick her ass if she really needed to. Okay. So Frieren is going to clear the barrier. They're going to get water. And then they're going to kick his ass. Let's see how this plays out. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, we're going. Just drop a mountain on them. That'll do it. Of course she did. Oh, give it to me, Madhouse. Of course it's impossible. The world would never turn upside down. Reality is fixed. And hierarchies cannot be undone, right? Oh. But that's what you wanted, right? You wanted things to be turned upside down. If you're smart, buddy boy, you just sit down now. Oh, he's not smart. Yeah, he's not smart. Ow, boy, that's a nasty way to go. I mean, it'll be fast at least. That's if his legs were like attached, they'll just have been like pulled off by that amount of water. Oh, he caught it with his legs. That's nice. Oh yeah, just cutting back. Yeah, okay, corpses in the tree. I need to take a look at that barrier break. But right now, I'm just really invested in seeing what's going to happen. That's very funny. Yeah, I'm sure you'd like to open him up with a knife. Just ask them nicely, maybe. Okay, well, I guess not. Why? They can't win. Well, yeah, no, that's true. Fist fight? Oh. I like that. I like that he can throw a punch. That's really good. 3, 2, 1, pause. Okay, there's some things to take a look at there. Jeez, okay. That's funny. But let's just have a look at. See, because it's not just the sparkles, is it? No. You see that? That happening over top of the sparkles as well. There's this secondary animation, effects animation of presaging like the breaking of glass, right? Like you can see sort of the shards and like the shattered glass. Ooh, what a time for hiccups. Shattered glass present in it, sort of presaging the shattered glass imagery that's going to become part of the spell as it keeps going. And like lots of like very analog looking, almost like these effects, these spell effects, they probably didn't, but it almost looks like they copied it out of yeah, like the way they're put together, it almost looks like they're overlaying the scene with actual manga art, like black and white, just overlaying it over top. They're not doing that, I don't think, but what a nice effect. Just the effects animators having an absolute time with this one. Not to mention like the impressiveness of like, again, hands. If you're an artist, you know about hands, right? Like hands are a problem. They're a bitch and a half to deal with a lot of the time because they aren't like, they have structure, right? You can do stuff to foreshorten them. There's a reason why this particular character model that I'm working with here has very square fingers. It's a convenient stylization, right? That helps the animation on it and the way that it tracks motion sort of read in a particular way. It's something else when you're trying to do like realistic fingers and rotate them three-dimensionally and then slowly zoom out from them until like you get to like here where you can start like really stylizing them away again, all the detail. Like the fucking props to the compositors and the lighting people on this one, like the way they darken everything else and slowly like crunch that in until Frieren is like this single point of light. And then we get like all this shattered glass imagery sort of slowly compressing and cohering. And then... oh, did they do a little thing? They did. Oh, I love that. That's very funny. That's not Frieren here. That's Syria. In the flash frames, that's Syria. You see how the hair is down here? And how we get just the hint of like the toga thing that she's wearing? Hiding her in the flash frames like that, almost as though to indicate like she's looking at this and seeing what Frieren is doing and she's having a great time with it. Or that Frieren is like adopting or taking some part of her power or has analyzed her way to it. And then we fucking turn it into TV static with like this rainbow banding. And it's interesting, it's like she's concretizing, like, because the barrier itself is like this sort of indistinct, like, like fog of rainbow, right? Like the visual distortions of oil in a puddle of water. And then Frieren's spell comes in and organizes all the colors into distinct bands, right? Like takes all of this diffuse sort of like emulsified nothing and organizes it into like into a strict structure, and the barrier cannot hold. Sorry for the flashing, by the way. Hella flash warning on this. And there's a mirror falling down. And I do like the little touch of her just like unfolding an umbrella. And again, like, given how small this is, given how tiny this is in frame, taking this much care to have her like lean forward, you can see her grab it, you can see her like pushing it out in front of her, doing the little like opening up the parasol, and the parasol opening with like this satisfying thump, and then she sort of settles down with it. Again, a relatively complicated animation to do for something that's so small. And again, back to this throne room that hasn't changed in 1,000 fucking years. Well, she has changed her outfit, at least. That's something. I'm curious about the ear-piercing decoration thing, because, like, both Frieren and Ciri have like a conspicuous ear decoration that's sort of part of their character design, right? Frieren has the earrings, the little red tears. Ciri has these things out on, like, the outer edges of her ears, without anything dangling from them, but I need to think about the character design implications of that. But the way that they're designed to mirror each other a lot, right? Frieren with all of her red gems, Ciri with her green gem, Frieren with colorless hair, Ciri with like colorful hair, eye color, polar opposite. And then, of course, the opposite affect, right? Frieren is very expressionless, really doesn't show her feelings on her face a lot, and then Ciri is more sort of smiley, confident, physical, in a way where Frieren's body language is often very passive, right? Like, she just kind of stands. She doesn't really pose, but Ciri poses. Also, that's a damn attractive character design. You know, like I think Sen, if he'd been there with him, he'd be like, ah, finally, an elf MILF. Like, I think he'd be... Moving on, by the way, to if his legs were like trapped and could not be moved, if they were like attached to the ground and he was hit with that volume of water, his legs would just have been torn off. Do you have any idea how heavy all of that water is? Do you have any idea how much force? Like, that's... You don't survive that. That's not a thing that a person survives for any reason. Water is terrifying. Like, water is just like, you think of water as like, oh, drip, 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 it's erosion, it's slow. No. When water gets going, when it gets just like a little bit of kinetic energy behind it, and it collides with anything loses to water. Water is the great equalizer of the planet Earth. Here's another great animation. Like this, like we open with like this quick swoop, right? Like where she's in the very front of the center of the screen, extreme close up. Then we very quickly zoom out a little bit, and then it's this slow, like we sort of take a pause here. Reimstrohai, she says the name of the spell. We sort of take a pause, and then she like very rapidly again zooms away from us as she's winding up to throw the spell, and like there's a lot of lovely squash and stretch and distortion and model breaking on like especially the staff as she's doing this. right? You see as she's rearing back, the staff is kind of bending in anticipation. And then as she swings it forward, like it really fully, like they fully break the character model just for a second to really give it that elastic, like swing. Like she's literally slapping this huge orb of water forward. And very deft handling by the animator also of like the level of detail, right? Slowly decreasing the amount of fidelity, the amount of detail on her as she zooms away very smoothly in a way that feels very coherent, even as by this point she's sort of reduced to just like some fairly indistinct blobs. There's not any sudden like, oh, she went from being detailed to being undetailed. It's like a very smooth transition that's very well handled. It's just like, yeah. Like, he puts up a barrier and he's like, yeah, that he knows it's not gonna work. And then it's just, oh boy, R.I.P. to an asshole. And Frieren like, well, that's a lot of water. Well, good luck with that. Bye. I do like that Denkin like catches him with his legs. Prevents him from getting swept too far away. That's very good. Then there was this little bit, this moment, like murder pervert wringing out her hair. That's another lovely animation. The weight that they're managing, the volume of the hair, and like the way that she shifts down to shake it is like, it's really well managed. I love the cut here. I know a spell that lets you see through clothes. Like, flash to black and then... That's very funny. That's good comic timing. Cloth physics pervert is back. I do like that. Like, literally, like, he casts off the cloak, right? The robes, which are like, in fantasy, the character design terms, right? Like the robes, the cloak, the big hat, like the big sort of covering. That's mage outfit, right? Like that's what mages wear. They have the cloaks, they have the robes, they have all of that. So he's literally doing like, actually, I took 4 levels in Barbarian also. And it's like a fucking wrestling entrance. It's like, wait, whose music is that? It's Duncan with the steel chair! Y'all ready for this? I like that. Like, and that's also, it's a good bit of characterization, right? It's, how did he survive for that long as an Imperial mage? Probably just by being able to do that. Like, everyone else comes at him with all their fucking spells and shit, and he's the only guy who knows how to actually throw a fucking punch. And, like, the haymaker he's rearing up here, you can see that dude coming at him with, like, almost like he's about to do the little brother thing of just, like, wailing on him. And he's got his hip activated, right? Like, he's stepping into it. The hip is activated. He's cocking that elbow like a fucking shotgun, and then, yep, uppercut right from below, right in the jaw. That's so fucking funny. That's really good. Anyway, let's watch the rest of the episode, I guess. 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, just a montage of everyone. Everyone passes anyway. All of the important characters anyway. And then those 3 also, I guess. And those 3, we never got to see them much. Oh, 3, 2, 1. pause. Oh, fuck me. I paused at the perfect time there. Oh, just the background pervert. I have never been good at backgrounds as an artist. I'm an illustrator. I've done comics, right? Like I do cartooning mostly. I really don't do paintings. I really don't do complex architectural backgrounds. Like it's just I can do it. It just takes for fucking ever, and I get tired, and I just want to move on because like ADHD brain. I want to do a cool little cartoon sketch, and then I want to move on to the next pose. So I've never had the patience for this. Never had the patience for this. Look at how fucking pretty this is. Look at that. Like look at the fucking color management here. Look at like all these blue tones, like nighttime blue tones, and then inside the archways, this yellow, not golden, right? It's not like a golden orangey sort of yellow light, but this like pale greenish yellow light lighting up the thing, like really contributing like a wetness to the whole scene. This looks like it's right after a spell of rain, right? Like, which we know it's been raining, right? Like these little beautiful reflections in the cobbles, the way, like, this is not a naturalistic perspective, I don't think. Like, I don't think this is all perfectly aligned with like grid lines, with the way that they've done the cobblestones here, but they don't need to. Like, there's, again, I've talked about it so much, but I'm going to talk about it again. Look how much this shit looks like it was built by people. Look how much this looks like this was people with hammers and chisels and people going to the quarry and dudes with wheelbarrows, and it's been standing there for like 182 years or whatever, and like it's been sort of sporadically repaired. And look how much this looks like it was man-made. Like this is a town that people live in, that people walk on the cobblestones, that little bits of grass grow up from among like the little gaps in the cobblestone. Look how pretty that is. Look at the fucking colors here. Fucking hell, that's really good. And then this. Oh, someone was given like like 5 extra hours to do these. Look at the fucking carvings in the fucking banisters here. The little floral decorations that are carved into it. And again, like the imperfection, right? The imperfection that these two support beams don't quite line up perfectly. This one's thinner. It's clearly been damaged. Maybe there's been a fire or something. Who the fuck knows? Lantern, the barrel that isn't quite round. This doesn't look like watercolor either, almost. This looks more like gouache, actually. Like a really proper matte painting. Could be achieved with watercolor, I'm sure, but... And God, look at the texture of that. Look at the tactility. Look how much you can imagine in your head. You can look at this and you can vividly, well, depending if you have aphantasia, but like you can vividly imagine running your fingers over the grooves there, right? Like how that smooth polished wood would feel if you were to touch it, right? Like you can imagine the feel of these cobblestones under your shoes. This is a sensual illustration. This is an illustration that doesn't just activate your eyes that say, okay, here's the geometry, it's a room, it's this big, but it activates you get the vibe of like the temperature in there. You get the vibe of like this bits of flour hanging from the ceiling, and it's wooden, and like there's candles, and it's probably a little damp, but like there's the smell of stale beer that's been spilled on the floor. Like this is background work. This is why I get so pissy about anime with bad backgrounds. I understand it. Like, backgrounds are such a extremely high resource commitment with extremely low return, because we're probably only going to use this background once in the history of the show's entire production, right? Like, they're never going to come back to this bar and reuse this illustration for more cell animation. That's never going to happen. So investing all of that time just to make this one background is like, okay, but if we could just do it with a few lines and some implication, would we need to do it? No, absolutely not. But what a sense of place. What a sense of... I can smell the petrichor. I can feel like the damp, slightly chilly, clammy air of like a sort of a northern city right after like a spot of rain in the evening and like the quiet of a series of city streets like this that where no one's out because it's cold and clammy. It was like fresh and the air has just been cleaned. But like that's what these backgrounds do, right? They don't just do the 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 simple function of, okay, here's the scene, this is where the characters are, this is what the location is. This is world building. This right here, this is world building. It's not just a pretty illustration, it's building the world. It is creating in the viewer an opportunity to feel like they are there for just a second, because the illustration does so much to communicate the feeling of the place, not just the geometry, not just the layout, not just the specifics of objects that are present in the scene, but the feeling of being in this space at this time. God, what a good fucking illustration. Holy shit. I don't suppose it's possible to buy these. Because I want to fucking frame this. And I don't mean like a poster. I want to print that on canvas and put it in like a wooden frame, like a painting. If there's an original of that made with gouache, like if that's actually gouache on paper, there's a substantial amount of money I would pay to own that, I think. There's a substantial amount of money. God, the fucking lighting in this one. Oh, that's pretty. God, that's pretty. Not that the backgrounds in the rest of the episode are slouching, right? They're solid. Like, I like the throne room with Frieren and Saren. Like this. Some lovely forest backgrounds, but it is also generic fantasy forest background, right? Like it doesn't really have a sense of the highly specific place. It is just, this is a fantasy forest. Beautifully painted, I will say. And this, like I said, this scene has interesting cinematography. Like, barrier, right? Like the characters are divided by this like barrier between them, right? Where he's in here all protected and ensconced by all this forest, they are out there in the open, much more vulnerable, right? Because that's the pace of the battle that's happening here. It's like they can't get through his defenses at all and he can strike at them freely. So it's like he has all of this. So like the forest is his space and it takes up almost all the space in the frame. It's encroaching on the two of them, right? And you can even see it like, yeah, gorgeous. It's not like the backgrounds in the rest of the episode are slouching at all. They're very pretty. They're very gorgeous. But like, come the fuck on. Anyway, it's basically the end of the episode. Let's just finish it out. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, a little joke. Yeah, just a little closing joke with Stark. Or Stark. It is supposed to be pronounced in German, after all. Stark, ja. Herr Stark, ja. Thank you, Madhouse, thank you. Good. I feel so. I was getting antsy. I needed some fucking Sakuga in my life. I was getting antsy. I am a little worried. I'm a little like, is Stark gonna get to do anything in this story arc at all? Also, who were these people? Who were they? Character designs too interesting not to be important. But yeah, it's like the show makes a little joke about it, right? I can stay up as late as I want and Fern isn't around to get mad at me. I'm so happy it's scary. He doesn't seem that happy, does he, though? I think he misses them, really, but it's just a little joke. But I hope the joke isn't, haha, Stark isn't going to be in the rest of the episodes at all. I would like him to be again. Give my boy Stark a fight scene. Like let him kill something big and scary, or like prove himself a little bit. Because the poor boy has been a butt monkey for a while now. He was training with the old dwarf, right? Like he developed some skills all of a sudden. Let him show him off. Like let Stark do something. Let him do something. I want to see my boy get to shine for a second. But maybe Magic School tournament arc isn't the arc for that, I guess. This is a real good show. I'm enjoying it. Anyway, early access behind membership if you want it. You don't have to. $1 a month. I have a Patreon if you prefer that. Merchandise store, blah, blah, blah. Links in the description. Self-promotion, like, comment, subscribe, etc. Goodbye.